This is the part 2 of my Owon B35 review. Previous video contained unboxing and now it's time to actually use the meter. I got this multimeter from manufacturer in exchange to making a review about it. I won't let that affect my opinions in any way. I will turn on the meter and go through most of the measurement modes one by one, demonstrating different features along the way. Going clockwise, first measurement modes are volts and millivolts. By default they are measuring in DC with autoranging on. One can change to AC or turn off the autoranging by pressing the select or range button. These settings will reset when turning the selector switch. I think this is a good way, as when you turn on the meter and set it to volts, you won't need to guess or check whether it is in DC or AC. It's always in the same mode when you start. First test I did was measuring a voltage of an AA battery. It took kinda long time to get a reading, but that's more or less common thing for outranging multimeters. When the range is set manually, there's maybe one too low reading before the correct one, and there is no overshoot. Sometimes even the first screen update might get it right. Speaking of screen update, the numerical value updates about 3 times a second, and a bar graph updates much faster, couple dozen times a second. The 6000 count display allows measuring 3.3 and 5 volt circuits using 1 mV resolution, where 2000 count displays in cheap meters needs to be set to 20 volt range with 10 mV resolution when measuring over 2 volts. When I've tested some test voltages, they've been well within the 0.5% plus 2 count accuracy. Within 0.2% plus 2 count actually. Everything's good so far. How accurately can you hit the like button? Plus minus 0.1% accuracy? Feel free to try out with this video. When measuring AC volts, pressing the Hertz/duty button cycles between frequency and duty cycle. Pressing it for a couple of seconds gets back to the voltage reading. That's a handy feature. Next selector position combines multiple modes which can be cycled through using a select button. First one is resistance, having ranges from 600 ohms to 60 mega ohms, with minimum resolution of 0.1 ohm. Lead resistance can be zeroed out by connecting the probes together and pressing right blue button. This sets the meter to manual mode, which doesn't matter too much as lead resistance is marginally low when measuring resistance in any other than the 600 ohm range. In other modes, the manual range could be a bigger problem for some users. Moving to the diode mode. Nothing special here, can measure forward voltage of diodes up to couple of volts. Here's a red LED and random diode for an example. The continuity mode seems to be latching type, and pretty fast for such. I've seen faster, but not often in cheaper meters. It's definitely fast enough for most users. The limit is around 30 ohms, low enough in my opinion. Capacitance measurement gave me good readings, considering tolerance of the capacitors and plus minus 3% and 3 to 5 count accuracy of the meter. Main thing I wanted to test was speed of measurement. Measuring 2200 microfarad capacitor took about 19 seconds, and 1 microfarad and lower took less than a second. It's normal for most multimeters to take such long times when measuring capacitors. That's just how they are being measured. Frequency and duty cycle have their own mode, selectable by the selector switch, even though they can be measured in voltage mode as well. Manual states 36 volts DC or equivalent RMS maximum voltage when using this dedicated mode. For demonstration, I used microcontroller to generate a 2.5 Hz square wave signal at 50% duty cycle, and the meter showed what was expected. The temperature reading has 1 degree resolution. Based on my test at around 0 to 40 degrees Celsius, this multimeter gave readings within less than 2 degrees of my other digital meters. That error of 1 degree or so won't be a problem for me. There's one more thing before we can wrap this review, and that's the Bluetooth functionality. Android app can be downloaded from Owon's website and iOS app can be downloaded from App Store. I'll use iOS app with my iPhone 6 for this demonstration. I installed and ran the app like any other app, connected the multimeter by pressing right blue button for a couple of seconds, and then pressing the plus button on the app and selecting the multimeter from the list. On the left side of the screen, there are 3 buttons or tabs for 3 different views. The first view is Remote Display, which shows same information as the multimeter. On the bottom of the screen there are buttons that are exactly the same as physical buttons of the meter. Only difference being the All button, which shows all the connected multimeters in the grid. I have only one meter, so there's not much to demonstrate. Second view shows multiple connected meters in a list, and again not much to demonstrate there with just one meter. Third view is where the magic happens. It's the data logging view. The values are automatically logged to the list on the right and graph will be drawn in the left side of the screen. List can be hidden by pressing the button above the graph. There are also buttons for zooming the graph. Logging can be paused by pressing the play button. Logged values can be saved to CSV, comma-separated values, file from the menu behind the button with 3 dots. Default file name has name of the meter and a date code. Sampling interval can be changed from that same menu by selecting Settings, clicking the value after sampling interval, and selecting either default, which is half a second, or other value from 1 second to as long as 200 minutes. To share the saved CSV file, there is a Choose File option in the menu. From there, user can select any of the saved files, click Edit, and then Share to open sharing screen of the iOS. Sharing options depend on apps installed. The files can be used to draw custom graphs in Excel or similar software on the computer. Some final thoughts about the multimeter. The backlight lasts longer than the 10 seconds mentioned in the manual, more like 40 seconds. I would prefer option to make the backlight stay on forever, but I think this is good enough compromise between battery life and usability. The display is readable from tilting back about 45 degrees to tilting forward about 10 degrees. That covers viewing angles that I mostly use. Horizontal viewing angle is good, maybe 150 or 160 degrees. One thing I don't personally like is beeper can be disabled. Button presses, auto turn off warnings, etc. have beeping sounds. I've recorded audio of this video separately, that's why you haven't heard those sounds before. Another negative thing to say is that the selector switch takes the hit if the meter is placed face down, as the rubber doesn't extend above its height. I like the stand. It's wide enough and meter won't fall when using selector switch or the buttons. Selector switch also feels good. It snaps into positions really well and I don't see myself accidentally leaving it between 2 positions. It is possible to do that, but not by accident. Overall, I like this meter. I hope you liked this video. Also subscribe for more videos.